is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
A late night last night in New York City, an early wake-up call this morning, and we're right back at it in Flushing, Queens. The D-backs with a chance for their first series sweep here since taking all 4 games at Shea Stadium back in 2002. It's the D-backs and the Mets on Fox Sports Arizona. Good morning from Citi Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume and Bob Brenly along the way. You awake yet? How you doing this morning?
So far, so good.
It was a late night last night. Team bus pulled out of the ballpark a little after midnight, and we are right back on the bus at 9 this morning as the Diamondbacks try and take all 3 here at Citi Field against the Mets. Our pitching matchup for you this morning, Braden Shipley on the mound for the D-backs and Noah Syndergaard, the hard-throwing right-hander named Thor for the Mets. Bob, Braden Shipley's got to find a way to cut down on those bases on balls.
Yeah, he got away with 6 last time out against the Brewers, gave up only 2 runs over his 6 innings of work. The start before that, he shut out the Dodgers for 6 innings. Keep the ball down. That's a key for Braden Shipley. He's not overpowering with his stuff. If he hits the corners and keeps the ball down, he can be very effective.
Well, we'll use your word, overpowering. There's a reason why they call this guy Thor. Noah Syndergaard with a hard fastball.
Yeah, according to Fangraphs, the fastest velocity on his fastball, his slider, and his changeup. He averages nearly 6 strikeouts for every walk, so he's a control power pitcher, something the Diamondbacks see few of.
And the D-backs take all 3 here at Citi Field against the Mets. First pitch is coming up next on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. By Oregano's. Step up to the plate for a guaranteed home run at Oregano's, your neighborhood pizza joint, location statewide. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you get more standard features for less money. Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Lone Butte Casino. Get in on big wins. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. And by Gigablast, 100 times more powerful internet from Cox. Bring on tomorrow. It's breakfast with the Diamondbacks, and the operative word today is muggy. It is thick with humidity here at Citi Field. The D-backs and the Mets. A little morning baseball for you. First pitch coming up next. Good morning from Citi Field in Flushing, Queens, where it is hot and humid, sticky, muggy, the whole thing. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh along the way, as the D-backs have a chance here for their first ever three-game sweep in this ballpark, and their first sweep in New York against the Mets since 2002 when they took all four back at Shea. D-backs, Bob, on a roll. They've won 4 of 5.
Yeah, they're really playing with a lot of confidence. Here's how Chip's going to line them up this afternoon. Gene Segura leading it off at second base. Michael Bourne out in center field. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Jake Lamb down at third with Chris Owings at short. Brandon Drury in left field. Socrates Brito in right. Tuffy Gosewish doing the catching for right-hander Braden Shipley.
And the Diamondbacks set to take on a Mets ball club that is just 10-15 since the All-Star break. They got a lot of unhappy people here after their World Series trip last year, but we've talked about this throughout this series. I don't know how you can expect much more with guys like David Wright, Yoenis Cespedes, Jose Reyes, Asdrubal Cabrera, Juan Lagares, Matt Harvey, all on the DL.
Lucas Duda. I mean, the list just goes on, and these aren't bench players or call-ups. These are guys that they counted on in their everyday lineup to produce offensively. They're trying to get by with pitching alone.
Now the Mets have lost 6 of their last 10. They are 10 back in the division, but they're only 2.5 games behind a wild card spot. But in danger here of getting swept in this 3-game series. That would drop them to an even 500 on the year. Now here is their unusual pregame custom, where a fan comes out and throws the first pitch, and the starting pitcher has to stand there like he's waiting for a bus. In this case, it's Noah Syndergaard. He is your Arizona Ford starting pitcher, nicknamed Thor for obvious reasons. He's got the hair and he's got the hammer. An all-star power pitcher, is 8th in the major leagues in strikeouts right now. A fastball, both the 4-seam and the 2-seam, that this year is averaging 98 miles an hour.
That's a slider that hits 91 miles an hour, a changeup at 90. I mentioned in the open of the show all the fastest average speeds for those 3 pitches. We just got a quick scouting report from Keith Hernandez. Came running over from the Mets booth to let us know that Noah Syndergaard has struggled with his slider recently, has trouble throwing it for strikes, bounces a lot of them in the dirt. Hopefully the Diamondbacks will lay off that pitch.
And Syndergaard has been pitching with a small bone spur in the back of his right elbow that has flared up from time to time, so that's been somewhat problematic as of late. Let's take a look now at the Mets defensively. Our eye on defense is brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
I have an outfield of Conforto in left, Diaz in center, Bruce in right. The infield will be Kelly Johnson at third, Matt Reynolds at shortstop, Neil Walker at second, James Loney over at first base, Rene Rivera doing the catching today for Noah Syndergaard. 7 left-handed bats in this Mets lineup, but so far this year against right-handed pitching, their team average is only .233 against right-handed pitchers.
Veteran Bill Welke behind the plate for the boys in blue. He'll have the balls and strikes. DJ Rayburn at first, Vic Carapazza at second, and the crew chief, John Hirschbeck, is our third base umpire today. And before we get underway, Bob Brentley, it's time for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Diamondbacks have stolen 9 bases, a franchise record in the first 2 games of this series. Noah Syndergaard has allowed 32 stolen bases all by himself this year. With that in mind, Terry Collins put Rene Rivera behind the plate, hoping to get a better arm behind the dish. But the Diamondbacks most of the time steal their bases against the pitcher.
And there you go. Noah Syndergaard has had a heck of a time, along with his teammate Steven Matz, of keeping runners where they're supposed to be on the bases. So we'll keep an eye out for that with Rivera back there behind the plate today, the former San Diego Padre. Jean Segura steps in, and we are set to go on a very humid afternoon in Flushing, Queens, as the Diamondbacks go for a 3-game sweep of the Mets before we head to Boston after this ball game for 3 at Fenway Park starting tomorrow night. .99 miles an hour on the very first pitch of the ball game, and it's 0-1. Get used to that. Don't see too many guys open with 99.
He's just getting loose.
Segura down quickly, 0-2. Gene 311 and 10 homers. He's got 4 hits and a walk in this series. He doubled twice last night. He's also swiped 3 bases. The Astros' Jose Altuve is the only player in baseball who has more hits in the first inning this year than Gene Segura. 93 degrees at first pitch this afternoon, just after noon local time. And Segura strikes out. Took something off the sinker that time.
I believe that was the slider that supposedly he's not throwing for strikes. That was a wicked slider with a lot of downward movement.
Michael Bourne. .246 and 2 homers. Michael has 3 hits in the series, a 2-run triple. That was the big hit in the D-backs win here Tuesday night. Another 99-mile-an-hour pitch from Noah Syndergaard. First pitch of the at-bat to Michael Bourne. Mentioned Syndergaard has that small bone spur. It's in the back of his right elbow. He's been treated with anti-inflammatories and insists he can pitch through it with no pain. He did have an MRI earlier this summer. It showed no structural damage, but the elbow has flared up at least twice this year. And a lot of people are looking at the Mets going, are you kidding me? With the way this kid throws, you're going to have him pitch through it, but they're already without Wheeler. They're without Harvey, and they might not have any other choice.
Yeah, it's one of those potential injuries that the doctor will tell you. You can pitch through it as much as you can tolerate the pain out there. It's not going to do any further damage.
Michael Bourne, a little broken bat bloop, drops it into right center, a 1-out single. Steven Matz, who pitched the opener here Tuesday, is also pitching this season with a bone spur, and he will need surgery after the year. But Sandy Alderson, the GM, says that Syndergaard's bone spur is not as significant as the one that Matz has. A 1-out base runner for Goldie. .297 and 18 home runs. So we'll see if the Diamondbacks want to test Noah Syndergaard with Bourne at first. 10 stolen bases on the year. He's been caught 3 times.
One thing you'll notice if you peek in at Rene Rivera's signs behind the plate, when you see that thumb come out, that's the sign for a pickoff attempt at first base. This fastball away.
Bourne holds it first, and Goldie fouls that one off. 98 from Syndergaard. Goldie's had a big series, drove in the first 2 D-backs runs last night. He's got 4 hits in the series, including a home run Tuesday. He's knocked in 4 runs. Bourne holds again, pitch out, nothing on. Rivera throws down there, and Bourne is back safely. James Loney back at first for the Mets this afternoon.
Michael Bourne getting back easily over there at first base. Hasn't reached his maximum lead yet at first.
Bourne bluffs and holds, and the fastball misses away. Goldie's ahead, 2 balls and 1 strike. Goldie hitting just over .330 in his last 16 games with 12 RBIs. Bourne holds again, swing and a miss. Another hard fastball from Syndergaard, and it's 2-2.
98, he's starting to lose some velocity on that fastball.
Getting tired. Syndergaard has won only once in his last 7 starts. He's not been the dominant pitcher that he was the first half of the year. Bone spur may have something to do with that. Goldie knocks that into right center field, and that's going to roll just shy of the warning track. Bruce cuts it off, and Goldie is in at second. Michael Bourne holds at third. Another base hit for Paul Goldschmidt. That's his 25th double.
Well, a real nice approach on that 2-strike slider from Syndergaard. Not a bad pitch on the outside corner, just above the knees, but Goldie drives it out into the gap in right center, turns it into a hustle double. Ball briefly got away at second base, but Michael Bourne not able to advance to home. Diamondbacks have 2 men in scoring position for Jake Lamb.
.99 again on the first pitch, and it's 0-1. Jake hitting .280 with 24 home runs. And he has had a difficult start to the road trip in this series. 0 for 9 with 6 strikeouts. Jake last night punched out 4 times in 5 at bats.
And tapped back to the mound in his other at bat.
What's it like? I don't know if you can even answer this question, or anyone can, but what's it like to face 99 miles an hour for 5, 6, 7 innings? I mean, you're used to seeing it with the relievers at the back end, but this guy will throw that hard 2, 3 times through the order.
I think the key for any hitter facing that kind of velocity is to think quick. lot of times guys make the mistake of trying to swing as hard as he's throwing, and the harder you try to swing, the bigger and longer your swing gets. Just defeats the purpose. Just think quick. Get the bat into the hitting zone as quickly as you can. He's going to supply a lot of the power if you barrel the ball up anyway.
Good hitters count for Jake. 2-1. Shandom popped up. Third base side, Kelly Johnson fighting that sun. And that's the second out. Well, here's a guy who's hit the ball very well as of late. It's Chris Owings. CO batting fifth today and playing shortstop. 267 and 2 homers. 4 for 9 in the series. A 3-hit night last night. Couple of doubles, couple of stolen bases. He's done a little bit of everything here. He's got Bourne at third, Goldie at second, and 2 outs. First pitch breaking ball that time. 0-1. Boy, CO 6 hits in his last 12 at bats. 3 of them for extra bases. He's really done well lately with that right center field approach.
And with that in mind, De Aza shaded several steps over to that gap in right center field.
Doubled up on that curveball, and it's 0-2.
You see where De Aza is positioned out there in center over in the gap, and Jay Bruce playing well off the line in right field, trying to plug that gap in right center where CO has been wearing it out.
Bounced the breaking ball that time, and it's 1-2 on Chris Owings.
You can't argue with the results because the Diamondbacks have won the first 2 games of the series, but they've left some men on base. They were 2 for 11 on Tuesday with runners in scoring position. 2 for 12 last night. Opportunity here for Chris Owings.
Already a 20-pitch first for Syndergaard. 1-2 on Owings. Got him. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Thor, who strands 2. Braden Shipley coming up. Mets, and your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the D-backs is Braden Shipley, his 4th big league start. And for the most part, he's been pretty effective. He pitched around a lot of trouble his last time out Friday against the Brewers, but he's got to eliminate these bases on balls. He's got more walks than strikeouts so far. walked 6 last week against the Brew Crew.
Yeah, gave up only 4 base hits against the Brewers, but the 6 base on balls put him in some serious jams. He was able to pitch out of most of those jams, gave up only 2 earned runs in that ball game.
The lineup for Terry Collins and his New York Mets. Alejandro De Aza set to lead it off.
He'll be out in center field for the Mets today. Neil Walker at second base. Jay Bruce out in right field. James Loney at first base. Kelly Johnson at third. Michael Conforto out in left field with Rene Rivera doing the catching. Matt Reynolds at short and Noah Syndergaard on the mound.
Alejandro De Aza getting the start in center. The day off for the veteran Curtis Granderson. Shipley bounces that one. Looked like a changeup in the first pitch, and it's 1-0. De Aza 199 and 3 homers, all 3 home runs coming off right-hand pitchers. He grounded out as a pinch hitter Tuesday. Walked and scored pinch hitting the lead off the 9th inning last night. Came in on the Kelly Johnson homer that tied the ball game. Went back to that changeup and throw it for a strike. It's 1-1. Like to see that changeup velo, BB, probably a little lower than 88 from Braden Shipley. We've seen that a little too often this year. A roller over the mound. Owings behind the bat, and he throws out De Aza to open up the ball game. Our eye on defense for the D-backs, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
Diamondbacks will feature an outfield of Drury in left, Bourne in center, Brito in right field today with Jake Lamb and Chris Owings on the left side of the infield. Gene Segura, Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Tuffy Goswish back behind the plate today for right-hander Braden Shipley.
Well, here's the Mets' biggest bat of this series. It's the second baseman, Neil Walker. 5 for 9 in the 2 games so far, including a home run Tuesday against Zach Greinke. D-backs have the shift on, and there's ball 1. Walker 274 and 20 home runs. His first season with the Mets following a trade from the Pirates in his native Pittsburgh earlier this year. Walker now with an 8-game hitting streak, and he's batting over .470 during that streak, including 3 homers. He's going to that changeup a whole bunch here, Braden Shipley, to start off the ball game, but he's not locating it, and they're not chasing it. It's 3-1. Another hit for Walker. A 1-out single ahead of Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce 259 with both the Reds and the Mets. He is, let's see, tied for 3rd in the National League with those 27 homers, 2nd in the league with 84 runs batted in. 2 hits in the series, both singles. Shift is still on for the Diamondbacks. 1-0.
Yeah, we speculated in the open of the show that the Diamondbacks might be very aggressive on the bases once again today. Probably won't be the case for the Mets. With Juan Lagares on the disabled list, Jay Bruce leads them in stolen bases with 4.
Not exactly the old go-go White Sox. There's a curveball from Braden, a 1-1. Bruce has played 8 games for the Mets since his trade from Cincinnati at the deadline. He's hit 188 in New York, including a pair of homers. Oh, Goldie right there, and they doubled off Walker, and Shipley is out of the inning. A rocket down to first, and Goldie's glove was right there. Jay Bruce right to Goldie, steps on the bag, and that ends the first. No score, the D-backs and the Nets from Citi Field. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. We are the early game all over the major leagues today. 2 NL West teams in action. Later on, the Padres are at Pittsburgh at 9:35 start, and the Rockies are in Texas. Chad Bettis on the mound for Colorado. Brandon Drury leads off the second against Noah Syndergaard. Brandon 258 and 10 home runs. Roller to third. Kelly Johnson on away. First ground ball out for Syndergaard today. That'll bring up Socrates Brito. Another start in right field for Socrates. 186, 2 homers in 15 games with the Diamondbacks this year. 0 for 5 so far in the series. .99-mile-an-hour fastball. Rivera wanted that one in. It drifted a little out over the plate for Brito, but he could only foul it back, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, that extra velocity will give you the luxury of missing your spot from time to time.
Tapper back to the mound on that curveball. 2 quick outs in the second for Syndergaard. Another start for Tuffy Gozawish behind the plate today. 154 and a homer. He was 1 for 4 with a single Tuesday against the Mets. 2 outs on 5 pitches so far for Syndergaard.
Syndergaard, another pitcher that starts almost from a stretch position. Has his toe pointing toward third base as he gets his signs from Rene Rivera. Then a very short step back with the left foot right into his windup. The traditional way, toes facing home plate. The pitcher takes a step back behind the rubber and then steps down into the hole in front of the rubber with his right foot. The issue is sometimes a guy swings his left leg around too far or not far enough, and by abbreviating the windup like this, it just eliminates that swinging of the front leg. You just lift it straight up, go straight to your target.
Tuffy hits it out to center. And Piazza runs it down. A 9-pitch second for Noah Syndergaard, who's retired 5 in a row. No score in New York.
Four consecutive home runs in an inning. Adam LaRoche, Miguel Montero, Mark Reynolds, and Stephen Drew go back to back to back to back.
Back. James Loney leads off the second against Braden Shipley. How about the high stirrups and the footwear on Loney today? He's really styling.
Matty Williams used to call those knock socks. If he went 2 or 3 days without getting a hit, you'd see Matty hike the pants way up there near the knees. Knock socks. Those are old-fashioned stirrups too. That's not any of that painted on stripe.
Yeah, it's a real deal. Loney 282 and 6 home runs. Hitless in the series, 0 for 6. He came into this series with a 7-game hitting streak. Right in front of Tom Goodwin at first. There's your guy, Beebe.
Beebe. Nice job, Beebe.
She's very excited.
Yes, she is.
Loney slaps this the other way toward Brandon Drury and left. He's got those shades on. Going away.
This is one of those days that's made for the flip down shades. Some of the players have the sunglasses on, some have them up on top of their hats. Got some cloud cover, and occasionally the sun will burst through.
Former Diamondback Kelly Johnson. Socrates got to get those things off the cap. Johnson the start at third base today. 245 and 7 home runs. And the big homer for the Mets last night. The 2-run pinch hit home run in the 9th inning that forced extras off Jake Barrett. Upper tank at City.
Way back there in the upper tank.
Wow. It was Johnson's 3rd homer in his last 6 games. 421 feet.
Curveball from Braden missed, and it's 2-1 on Kelly Johnson. He's got 7 home runs this year, 6 as a Met following his trade from Atlanta earlier this season. That was back in the beginning of June. 2-2 now. That's kind of a weird thing with Kelly Johnson. He's been traded from the Braves to the Mets 2 years in a row. Shipley cranks up that fastball to 94 and gets his first strikeout.
That's a four-seamer, a little extra velocity on that pitch as opposed to his two-seam sinker. Nice to have that in your back pocket after you've thrown a change-up and a breaking ball and a two-seam sinker. A little more zip on that four-seamer.
Michael Conforto. Conforto, the left fielder today. 221 and 11 home runs. He's got some power. But he is hitless in the series, 0 for 4, a walk and 3 strikeouts. That's the first pitch strike of the ball game for Braden Shipley. And he jumps ahead of Conforto, 0-2. He wanted it in 95 miles an hour, but he missed. Oh, he dropped that in there. Beautiful curveball from Braden Shipley, and he's got 2 strikeouts in the inning. No score through 2. Three-game sweep of the Mets, no score. After this ball game, we are on an airplane. It's our Valley Toyota dealers Let's Go places. We head to Fenway Park for 3 in Red Sox Nation. We'll be in the nation tomorrow night and Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. And the Red Sox are only 2.5 out of the AL East lead right now, led by bullpen catcher Michael Brenly.
That's right.
Noah Syndergaard has retired the last 5 he's faced after giving up a couple of hits in the first. He stranded 2 base runners in that first inning. And pitcher Braden Shipley leads off the third. Mentioned that Syndergaard has won only once his last 7 starts. And it's been a bit of a puzzle for the Mets. If you go back even as recently as June 22nd, he was 8-2 and his ERA was 2.08. But he has struggled the last month and a half or so. And he says part of the problem, he's just been trying to be too fine with everything. Basically trying to play darts. He's watched Bartolo Colon a little too often. As opposed to just trusting his mechanics and delivering a quality pitch for Terry Collins.
Over his last 5 starts, Syndergaard has 3 losses and 2 no decisions. And apparently was much more efficient earlier in the season. He was averaging right around 14 pitches per inning, but as his struggles started, the pitch count went up. He's averaging almost 18 pitches an inning recently.
It's the glove that time. 6 in a row retired by Syndergaard. He's got 3 strikeouts. Gene Segura struck out to lead off the ball game. Noah Syndergaard was a sensation last year, especially in the postseason. Struck out 11 Dodgers in the division series last year. Then he won starts against the Cubs in the NLCS, and he beat the Royals in the World Series, all at the tender age of 23. He'll turn 24 later this month, Noah Syndergaard, a first-round pick by the Blue Jays back in 2010 out of Mansfield, Texas. Key member of last year's pennant-winning New York Mets. That fastball missed in, and it's 2-1 on Segura. We're going to Boston. That is a wicked hot slider.
Yeah, that's a wicked hot.
Got him again. 4 strikeouts for Syndergaard.
Well, when you see a hitter look back like Gene Segura does right here, swinging and missing, and what in the world was that?
Most guys' sliders have more lateral or horizontal movement. That pitch just dropped at 92. Michael Bourne singled in his first at bat against Syndergaard. 40 pitches, 27 strikes. That's the fastball at 99. Syndergaard, I guess since he gets so many swings and misses, doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. He's only walked 27 batters in just over 129 innings this year. Stays 1-2 on Bourne.
Man, really tough to catch up to that high 90s fastball when it's elevated up above the belt.
Michael Bourne, another hit. He's 2 for 2. And snaps a stretch of 7 straight retired by Syndergaard. And that'll bring up Goldie, who doubled his first time up. That double Goldie's 5th hit of the series. '98 right by him, and it's 0-1. There's just this sort of relentlessness to his velocity. It never lets up, it seems. When it does, it's a hard slider at 92.
Michael Bourn was on back in the first inning with a 1-out single ahead of Paul Goldschmidt and didn't attempt to run. Didn't even really attempt to get a maximum lead over there.
Yeah. It seems to be sort of the same plan again right now. Bourn bluffs and holds, and Goldsy hits it to center, and it drops in front of Diaz. Michael will head for third, and Goldie's 2 for 2.
Paul Goldschmidt and Michael Bourn being very greedy. They have all 4 hits in the ball game for the Diamondbacks. Nice to see Jake Lamb come through here with a 2-out something, get the Diamondbacks on the board.
Jake popped up in his first at bat. Bourn at third and Goldschmidt at first, 2 outs. Jake 0 for 10 in the series to this point. And it's 0-2.
Fourth 0-2 count in the ball game for Thor out there on the mound.
He's got 4 strikeouts. He has not walked a batter. Pitch that Jake Lamb gets jammed on, pops it up to third. And again, the Diamondbacks strand 2. They'll head to the home half of the third. No score at Citi Field.
Bob Brentley, this one's for you as we consider what Tuffy Gozewich is going through today with the heat and humidity catching this game. I talked to Tuffy before the game today. He said, look, I started preparing for this 2.5 days ago, pounding water and all kinds of nutrients, making sure he's eating right, lots of vegetables. But his experience comes from a couple of years in the Florida State League, caught over 200 games or close to it in the heat and humidity. There's a grounder right back to the mound, and that will be the first out of the inning. But Bob, I'm guessing that you can relate to that, losing 5 to 10 pounds behind the plate on a day like today.
Oh, it's not uncommon at all for a catcher to lose that. Mostly water weight that you could put on quickly after the ball game. But yeah, everybody's gone through it somewhere. I experienced that in the Texas League. Heat and humidity becomes your friend by the end of the summer.
Catch a few day games in Midland, Texas or someplace. Well, Braden Shipley had a 22-pitch total through the first 2 innings, which has been very good, considering some of the long first innings the Diamondback starters have had lately. And he gets the first pitch out against Rivera. Brings up Matt Reynolds, the shortstop.
By the way, Steve, you get a producer's credit coming up.
I do.
Diamondbacks Live in Boston. I was eavesdropping. And yes, we do want Bob and his son Michael on the show at some point.
That's a headliner right there.
Absolutely. We just don't know what day to slot it in. But
we'll have to talk to Michael's people.
We'll do lunch.
Wait, aren't you Michael's people?
Yeah, come to think of it.
Yeah, Michael, of course, the Red Sox bullpen catcher. The Brentley reunion tour this weekend in Red Sox Nation. Now, what will the segment consist? I'd like to screen some of the questions.
I think we'll talk about the near brouhaha again with the Yankees.
Can I get script approval?
Absolutely. You've got creative control.
Well, I got to make sure Bob's interests are protected.
This, of course, though, means that we'll have to negotiate a deal with you because there's a little visit through Todd's garage I'd like to take with you, Steve.
Oh, off the chest of Chris Owings, and it rolls into left center. Matt Reynolds has the second Mets hit. I assume that'll be a base hit. And it is. What's happening in the garage?
Well, I brought some stuff. I'd like for you to look it over.
Did you bring your big ball of string?
No, I left the yarn at home.
It's too big to travel now.
No, it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, you just keep adding to it. I mean, circa 1975, Steve. That's where we'll go.
Oh,
if you will
you're
oblige.
Still bitter about the big red machine.
I have some cool. No, I can't stand those guys. And what I will shockingly admit to you is that I was a part of your nation that year.
Oh, you can't be from New York and be in the nation. It's against the rules.
It's a long story.
You're stopped right at the border. You're not allowed on Cape Cod or the Mass Pike.
It's a Pawtucket thing. I'll explain.
Oh, all right. The Paw Sox.
Isn't that the very definition of a front runner?
Good call. This is why I need script approval for the Brentley segment.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we got to keep you New Yorkers off the Cape. Reynolds a little shaken up on that one, but he says he's all right. The 1975 Pawtucket Red Sox. That's what you're.
I will weave a story that will get you to the Red Sox of 75 through Pawtucket circa 74.
Oh, is that?
Okay.
I sense a Fred Lynn, Jim Rice.
We'll go
scenario.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
Sprinkle in a little Vern Rule. How's that?
Whoa,
Vern Rule.
There you go.
Pull.
See, now it piqued your interest.
I remember Vern Rule as an Astro.
There you go. Now you can't wait. Sort of.
The anticipation is palpable. Syndergaard pulls back, but it's a strike, draws Lamb in from third. Now, why were you just on board with the nation in 75 because you were anti Big Red Machine?
No, I honestly, as I'll explain, but that was the first World Series, Steve, that I really remember being totally engaged in as a kid. I remember the 73 series with the Mets, the whole New York thing, but that one was the one that brought me to the game.
And a lot of people, as Shipley gets the strikeout, one of the great World Series ever played.
Yep. the story will end, and I'll get out of your way here, but will end on the name Win Remmerswaal. Okay.
Win Remmerswaal was from the Netherlands. He was a Red Sox pitcher, and every spring he would have some kind of visa problem, and he could never get down to spring training, and they trained in Winter Haven in those days, and that was an annual story. Yes, Win Remmerswaal is once again delayed. He's in the Netherlands.
I think I know why, because I will show. It's the worst autograph I've ever seen in the history of sports.
You try writing Win Remmerswaal.
Wait, when I show you what I have from the garage, you will.
You have an authentically signed Win Remmerswaal.
Yeah. See, it goes back to this whole Pawtucket thing. See, now you're.
Gotcha. You're really done a nice job here.
We're weaving. But again, Michael and Bob Brenly will be on at some point.
All right.
Okay.
I'm glad to hear it. Are they going to be down at Cheers?
That's a great idea.
Hey, Nami.
Solid.
Little known fact there, Todd.
It's so cold outside. Oh, never mind.
Not today. Alejandro Diaza. So thanks to Todd Walsh. A lot coming up then over the weekend on the Diamondback Live pregame show. Have to have Jones at the VCR back at home, or the DVR, whatever you got over there. Braden Shipley, 2 strikeouts for the second consecutive inning. We are scoreless through 3. As we start the 4th inning, a scoreless game, the D-backs and the Mets. And hey fans, if you can't catch the games on your television, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Just download the app and take Fox Sports Arizona and Diamondbacks baseball with you wherever you go. Chris Owings leads off the 4th against Noah Syndergaard, who's got 4 strikeouts. He's given up 4 hits, 2 each by Michael Bourn and Paul Goldschmidt. CO struck out his first time up. It's a hole-in-one and drives it deep to left center field. And it's off the wall. Chris Owings barrels up another extra base hit. It's a leadoff double. Chris has 7 hits in his last 14 at bats, 4 of them for extra bases.
And I said last inning it's tough to catch up to that high fastball. Not for Chris Owings. laying in the weeds there, looking for that first pitch heater, and tomahawks it into the gap in left center field for a leadoff double.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Second time through the order now. Do they have a sense of what to look for up there?
Well, you have a much better idea of how quickly that ball gets on you, and you make the appropriate adjustment in your swing. That time Chris really quick, got the barrel on the ball and hit it a long way. That's the second ball in this series he's hit off the wall. One in right center, that one in left center.
E.J. Rayburn says that Brandon Drury did not go, and it's 1-0 on Drury, who grounded out in his first at bat. Diamondbacks have left 2 runners on base in the first and the third. Now Owings is at second to lead off the fourth. There's a fly ball to center for Diaz. Owings will tag up and head for third, and he's in there.
Diaz tries to get behind the ball out there in center field. He does a pretty good job of it, but Chris Owings just outruns his throw to third base.
So an RBI chance for Socrates Brito. Hitless in the series so far. 182 on the year.
Boy, and this isn't a bat where you really need to shorten up if you're Socrates Brito. Just make contact.
Infield comes in for the Mets.
Infield drawn in. Any solid contact that's not hit right at a Mets defender will probably get through into the outfield for an RBI hit.
Are you a contact play guy?
When it works.
That's good managing right there.
Unfortunately, when it doesn't work, it looks so bad. Guys get thrown out by 30 feet at home plate.
That happens a lot to every team.
Yep.
And the idea is the guy on third is coming home as soon as he hears the bat hit the ball.
As soon as he hears contact, he's breaking for home plate.
Brito fights it off and dunks it the other way, and that's a fair ball. An RBI base hit for Socrates Brito as it gets up into the seats, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks.
Contact. Attaboy Socrates Brito just put the ball in play here.
That one had funny spin on it and hopped sideways into the seats.
Yeah, middle of the plate fastball got in on him a little bit, slicing down that third base line, hit in fair territory and bounces up in the seats in foul territory.
RBI ground rule double for Brito. Tuffy Gozowich. Tuffy flying out to center his first time up. Tuffy in a 1 for 24 at the plate right now. The one was a single Tuesday. Oh, what a catch. There he is, Jacob deGrom, right in front of our booth. A no-doubter, barehanded catch right to him. Didn't spill a drop.
One-handed.
That was impressive. It's about 10 feet in front of us here.
Yeah, that's our view from up here in the press box.
Oh, look at this. Nice job. He gave it to a youngster just down the row there.
Attaboy.
Way to go. Watch this catch.
Wow. Statue of Liberty play right there.
He knows where the cameras are. First he points to Gary and Keith.
Yep.
Then he goes to Howie and Josh over in radio. And just a moment ago he walked down the aisle and gave it to a young boy sitting there watching the ball game. Brito takes off for third. The throw from Rivera is not in time, and Socrates Brito has his second stolen base this year. And that's 10 in this series for the Diamondbacks.
And Brito just edging off, and Syndergaard doesn't make him stop out there at second base, and then he's very deliberate on his delivery to home plate. All adds up to a stolen base for Socrates Brito.
Brito was able to get Owings home from third. We'll see if Tuffy can bring Socrates in.
Well, once again, solid contact. Infield is drawn in. Put that ball in place somewhere hard.
You know, this is kind of what they've been seeing from Noah Syndergaard lately. The guy that Terry Collins just hasn't put anybody away, certainly not like he has in the past. Tuffy shoots that toward the right field corner, and Jay Bruce won't get there. It's a fair ball. Brito will score, and Tuffy Gozawish will head for third, and he's in there with the RBI triple.
How about that? 2 doubles and a triple in the inning. Solid contact. That's all you need. Got that ball in the air. At worst, it was going to be a sacrifice fly RBI, but when Bruce couldn't get there and the ball rolls all the way to the fence, Tuffy ends up at third base.
Just watch him point to the third base bag. Look, I'm standing on third with my first career triple. Right there. Look, my foot is on the bag and everything. Nice going. Mets infield will stay in now. Once again, D-backs have a runner at third base. Now with a 2-0 lead. Here's the pitcher, Braden Shipley. And he blasts it right by Syndergaard. By a diving Neil Walker. Gozawish scores, and it's 3-0. The RBI for Braden Shipley. 4th Diamondback hit in this inning against Thor.
Infield drawn in. Any kind of solid contact not hit right at a defender is going to be an RBI base hit. That one by a diving Neil Walker on into center field. Nice job.
And the Diamondbacks trying to close out a 3-game sweep of the Mets, lead at 3-0. And here's the leadoff man, Gene Segura, who has struck out twice.
Gene Segura's struggles over the last couple of seasons have been well documented, both personal and professional struggles, but the improvements he's made this year are absolutely remarkable. Batting average of 14 and 15 was .252 with an on-base percentage of .331. This year he's hitting .311 with an on-base percentage of .360. Watch out.
He is second in the National League in hits, only one behind former Met Daniel Murphy, who's batting .346 in Washington right now. What has most impressed you about Segura this year?
I think his patience, because that's something we never saw from Gene Segura in the past. His at-bats were over usually in a couple of pitches.
Shipley takes off, and he's in there with a head-first slide. That's 11 stolen bases in this series by the Diamondbacks. 11. The pitcher just stole second.
Not even holding him on over there at first base, and that slow, deliberate throw to home plate, and Shipley just takes off.
The 100th stolen base allowed this year by the New York Mets. The second one in this inning.
Yeah, Gene's patience this year has been a welcome surprise, I think, for everybody involved with the Diamondbacks. He was a guy that would see 2, maybe 3 pitches in an at-bat, rarely drew a base on balls. But as we've seen throughout this season, he has extended at-bats, fouling off those 2-strike pitches, taking a walk if they don't throw him anything to hit.
He's ahead 3-1. Ground to shortstop for Reynolds, and that's the second out as Shipley moves into third.
His patience at the plate and his defense at second base. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from a guy that had played shortstop his entire career. moving over on the other side of the bag. Not always an easy thing to do, but Jean Segura has looked like a natural at second base.
Yeah, and even he said in spring training he was a little apprehensive about it, having never played over there. Well, Michael Bourn has had all the answers today. 2 for 2 with a couple of singles against Syndergaard. He's up there with Shipley at third and 2 outs. Michael now with 5 hits in the series.
Stolen base by Braden Shipley was the 3rd stolen base in the majors this season by a pitcher. One of the other ones was Zach Greinke,
who also slid head first.
Yeah, we didn't like that then, and we didn't like it today.
Not thrilled. Well, Syndergaard finally ends the inning. He gets his 5th strikeout, but the Diamondbacks get 4 hits and they put up a 3 spot. They lead it 3-0. He had to cut down on the walks. He's yet to walk a batter, and he's got 4 strikeouts.
Boy, great command of the curveball in the early going today. He's used that to strike out a number of the Mets hitters in the ball game, jump ahead in the count when he needs to. Really has it all working now. Be interesting to see after his trip around the bases there if that took anything out of Braden Shipley. Got the RBI base hit, stole a base, head first slide. Just getting out to the mound now to start his warm-up pitches.
And he has been very efficient. Only 35 pitches through 3 innings. He's given up 2 hits, both singles. No walks and 4 strikeouts. He'll face Walker, Bruce, and Loney 2, 3, and 4 here in the Met 4th. D-backs with a chance for their first ever 3-game sweep at Citi Field. It would be just their 3rd road sweep of the Mets. They last swept the series in New York back in 2002 when they won all 4 at Shea Stadium. And it's amazing what a couple of wins, in fact 4 in their last 5 games, will do for the mood and the attitude around here. Everybody was feeling upbeat, even after the long night last night. Very happy bus ride back to Times Square.
Yeah, a lot of smiling faces in the hotel lobby this morning, and probably the most populated bus ride to the ballpark we've ever had.
Yeah, even the skipper, Chip Hale, was on the bus. Everybody was up early this morning, trying to get that extra hour or so of sleep. We didn't get back to the hotel last night until about 1 in the morning. And the bus left at 9. Walker's had a big series. 6 for 10. He singled his first time up today. His shift is on. That's fouled out. And it's 0-1. Walker's now hit safely in 9 straight.
I mentioned in that last half inning 3 stolen bases for pitchers this year, one by Braden Shipley, one by Zach Greinke, and the other one by a former Diamondback, Edwin Jackson.
Third base side, Co's the only guy over there along with Drury, and Brandon Drury makes a diving grab. Just shy of foul ground, what foul ground there is over there in the outfield, and Brandon Drury slides and makes the catch. I think he tore his pants.
I think he got a strawberry there sliding on that warning track over in front of the bleachers. Really came down hard on that left hip. Looked like it tore a hole in his pants and possibly in his leg as well. He's made some nice defensive plays in this series. A couple in right field the other night, and that sliding catch over there in foul territory. Near foul territory.
Those pants have seen better days.
Yeah.
Jay Bruce.
We can get you new pants.
Might have to.
No.
Well, he's trying to. He doesn't want the whole left field bleacher staring at what's going on back there. Jay Bruce lined into a double play, hit one right to Goldie, and they doubled off Walker back in the first. Laces that one down the right field line, and that's foul.
Big crowd here at the ballpark today. I think this must be a camp day. Occasionally they have them for the day games. Get the youngsters out here from the various summer camps around town.
There's a clump of kids with neon green shirts and another clump with bright orange shirts. Lazy fly ball, very shallow center. Owings calling for it, and he's got it for the second out. So Jay Bruce 0 for 2. That'll bring up James Loney. Loney flied out in his first at bat. It's interesting, Bob, talking about Braden Shipley when he was so good in that start against the Dodgers, his second big league start. He had a bunch of ground balls and ground ball outs in that game, but so far today it's mostly been strikeouts and harmless fly balls. Only got, let's see, 2 ground ball outs so far. Michael Bourn in center. Another fly ball out for Shipley. That's a 9-pitch fourth. He leads it 3-0. Introducing Pepsi Moji. Every time you grab an ice cold Pepsi 20-ounce bottle this summer, you'll find a Pepsi Moji on the side of the bottle. There are hundreds of different designs, so show the world how you feel and what you love with Pepsi Moji using hashtag #SaveWithPepsi. D-backs have out hit the Mets 8-2. They lead at 3-0. A 3-run fourth, and Goldie leads off the fifth against Noah Syndergaard. Paul so far has doubled and singled. He's 2 for 2. He's got 6 hits in the series. And there's ball 1. Two balls and a strike to Goldie. 6 hits and 4 runs batted in the series. Drove in the D-backs' first 2 runs last night. Well, he's tried everything with Goldie. Changeup, slider. Down on the end of the bat for Reynolds, and it goes right under the glove. Goldie's aboard. Matt Reynolds at shortstop. The whiff.
Well, you could almost see that coming. Ball wasn't hit particularly hard. Hopping toward the left side. Reynolds charging at full speed, and that ball just stayed down, snuck right underneath his glove.
Well, they anticipate they'll have Jose Reyes back soon. He's on the DL with a left oblique strain and will begin a minor league rehab assignment tonight with Class A Brooklyn. Matt Reynolds up for the minor leagues. They're also without Asdrubal Cabrera. Jake Lamb 0 for 2. Well, Syndergaard has come in on Lamb all day today. Twice he's jammed him and gotten him to pop up to third base. Bill Welke will give Rene Rivera a moment behind the plate. You ever have a pitcher that would just lose it when something like that happened? Like a easy ground ball goes under somebody's glove and they just, oh.
I can't say as I ever played with anybody that did that, because they'd get choked when they got back in the dugout. But there's certainly a lot of guys around the game that have been known to do that. John Lackey jumps to mind immediately. Carlos Zambrano was a guy that used to get very upset when the defense didn't make plays behind him.
Another fly ball the other way off the bat of Lamb. Conforto has it, and that's the first out. Sometimes guys get competitive and they just kind of, well, I can't do that, but they forget that and the filter comes off.
Well, it happened to Randy Johnson and Luis Gonzalez in San Francisco one night. Gonzo had some trouble with the ball out in left field that Randy thought he should have caught, and they had words in the dugout after the inning was over. Got past it and moved on.
Did you have to mediate that at all?
I wasn't involved in that particular one. I'd been relieved of duties at that point.
Well, that's probably why they were really arguing.
I would imagine.
Chris Owings doubled and scored his last time up. CO 7 hits in his last 14 at bats, including 4 of them for extra bases. Syndergaard ahead 0-2. There's that hard slider. And we're going to Boston tonight. I mean, when Lackey was with the Red Sox, he would do that all the time, and it became a big issue in Boston because he was, like a spoiled kid out there in the mound, and it just didn't go over very well. You see that a lot from Jake Peavy, not necessarily demonstrated at his fielders, but just in general, he's like that all the time. Body language and composure always an issue. Got to rosin up on a hot, sweaty day at Citi Field.
I mean, how would a pitcher feel if he walked a guy and all the position players threw their hands in the air? What are you doing?
Oh,
come on.
There goes Goldie. The throw from Rivera is not in time. Another Diamondback stolen base in this series. And for Goldie, that's his 15th of the year.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
That was your Valley Honda dealer's key to the game.
Well, Rivera gets rid of it quickly, makes a strong, accurate throw, and it's not even close down there at second base.
Diamondbacks have stolen 12 bases in this series, and we're only halfway through the third game. Goldie really dancing around back there at second, jumping up and down.
He may just keep on going if they don't hold him close out there.
He was doing everything but jumping jacks back there. Well, we're just going through pants. We may not make it through the Red Sox series.
That pair's been patched a couple times already.
Yeah. Now Walker will sneak in from second behind Goldie. As Owings strikes out, 6 strikeouts for Syndergaard, 2 outs in the 5th.
It doesn't work out in this particular at bat, but if you've got that second baseman over there holding Goldie on the bag, that opens that big hole on the right side where Chris Owings has been getting a lot of his base hits in this series.
We'll see what Brandon Drury can do. Brandon has grounded out, flied out, 0 for 2.
How's it go?
Drury 0 for 4 with a walk last night. Had a couple of hits Tuesday, including a home run. Goldie still dancing around back there behind Syndergaard. Fastball missed, and now Rivera wants a word. I don't recall, Bob, ever seeing Goldie do this on the bases. Not to this extent.
That could be intentional, trying to disrupt Syndergaard out there on the mound. Split his attention. Maybe he'll make a mistake to the batter at the plate, or he might be looking to steal third.
I mean, it's one thing to get a big lead and a big secondary lead, but he is jumping up and down, tap dancing.
Boy, before this series, the most stolen bases in a series for the Diamondbacks was 10 over a 4-game series against the Marlins back in '09.
I mean, this is all during the pitch. The previous pitch was even more pronounced than that.
Every pitcher likes to get in some kind of a rhythm out there on the mound, and if you have to check that runner at second base once, twice, 3 times to get him to stop, that's going to throw you a little bit off your rhythm out there on the mound, and that's when mistakes are made.
Well, that hard slider will make up for a lot of them. Let's see. Goldie fairly quiet that time, and Brandon is able to check his swing. Goldie heads for third. Here's the throw. There is no throw. There's no one on the bag. Another stolen base for the Diamondbacks. 2 in this inning by Paul Goldschmidt. That's his 16th of the year.
Well, you can see that his momentum going to third base. Kelly Johnson doesn't even break to cover the bag. There was nobody for Rivera to throw the ball to anyway. I'll tell you, I love this. Diamondbacks, you know, crunching the numbers, looking at the stats, reading the advance report, looking at some video, and they determined that this was a weakness, a glaring weakness for the Mets, the inability to slow down a running game, and they have just been running crazy in this series.
And you had to think that all that rattled Syndergaard a bit. Now he wants to talk to Rivera as he loses Drury. And Diamondbacks have stolen 13 bases in this series. And Syndergaard now at 90 pitches, 60 strikes. It's his first base on balls, and just the 28th walk he's issued all year. 4 Diamondbacks stolen bases in the last 2 innings.
And you know it's between the Mets ears right now. They pitched out earlier in the ball game. Infielders leaving their position to try to hold the runners a little bit closer to the bases, and all to no avail.
Well, the Diamondbacks got 3 in the 4th. One of those runs came in on a Socrates Brito RBI double, and Brito steps in with 2 outs. Goldie at third and Brandon Drury at first. Foul ground. There's a lot of it in this ballpark. Kelly Johnson. So Syndergaard strands 2. We'll head to the home half of the 5th. It's 3-0 D-backs.
The 5th inning. Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. A day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Now look, we know it's hot back home. It's August in Arizona, but it is sticky and humid and gross here today. This is the radio booth. The Governor, Greg Schulte and Tom Candiotti. The Governor has opened up his window. It was closed earlier, but Candy is back there and hiding in air-conditioned comfort.
Yes, he is.
Not really a gamer. Kelly Johnson leads off the Mets 5th. And of course Leo Gilmartin is back there. He's got the AC and a fan on. Johnson struck out against Shipley back in the 2nd. Braden has retired 5 in a row.
And he's been very efficient. There's been 3 5-pitch at bats, 3 4-pitch at bats, 5 3-pitch at bats, and 2 1-pitch at bats. Getting it done.
But behind here on Johnson to open up the 5th, 2-0. So far, Braden has struck out 4. He's not walked a batter. He's given up only 2 hits, both singles. Diamondbacks have out hit the Mets 8-2. Well, we just talked about how efficient he was, and he walked the leadoff man on 4 pitches.
And Tuffy right out to the mound immediately. So out of character for what we've seen from Braden Shipley through the first 4 innings of this game.
I want to bring out Michael Conforto, who struck out to end the 2nd inning. Conforto 0 for 5 in the series with 4 strikeouts, 220 on the year. There's a strike and it's 0-1. Conforto has been up and down with New York this year. Got off to a good start, had a big April. But then over May and June he hit under 150, was sent to AAA for a while. Was recalled July 18th. He's hit .213 since he's been back from the minor leagues. Very promising young left-hand hitter, just 23 years old. He's got some power. And Terry Collins says if the Mets are going to get into the postseason, Conforto's got to be a big part of it. They need the bat with so many key hitters injured. But progress this year since the beginning of May has been slow. Drive this one to center field. It'll back up Michael Bourn just shy of the warning track out there. And that's the first out in the fifth.
They want to alert all the D-backs season ticket holders. Be sure to renew your season tickets before August 31st to be eligible to win exclusive prizes like a lunch with Randy Johnson, $1,000 cash, a luxury watch courtesy of Ganem Jewelers, an all-inclusive vacation with airfare courtesy of American Airlines Vacations, and more. To see the full list of prizes and to renew, visit dbacks.com/advantage.
The catcher, Rene Rivera. Tap back to the mound his first time up. Now remember Rivera, former Padre catcher. This year as a Met, .215 and 4 homers. He's only played in 36 games. He's got a base hit just by Chris Owings at shortstop. Mets have 2 on with a 1 out for Matt Reynolds.
Rick Rivera got out in front just a little bit, but extended his swing, took the top hand off the bat, and got enough of it to get it by Chris Owings into left field for a base hit.
Well, here's the shortstop Reynolds, who singled in the third. Pitcher spot is up next. Jonathan Neese is warming up in the Met bullpen. And Curtis Granderson will come out in the on-deck circle. He will hit, apparently, for Syndergaard. Strike 1 from Shipley. Jonathan Neese, former Met, then a Pirate, now a Met again. Good pitch there from Braden. He's ahead 1-2. Got him on the strikeout. That's 5 strikeouts for Braden Shipley, 2 outs in the fifth.
Boy, Braden's had a really good curveball today. He's thrown it for strikes when he wanted to. He's led the Mets hitters out of the zone with it.
Curtis Granderson has been announced. He will hit for Syndergaard, so that ends the day for Thor, who went 5 innings. Gave up 3 runs on 8 hits. Granderson .230 and 18 homers. He is 1 for 9 in this series with 3 strikeouts. Two on and 2 out. Hard to tell oftentimes when Braden is throwing either that changeup or he's trying to throw a sinker. They come in at close to the same speed and have similar movement on it. That one missed, and it's 2-0 on Granderson. That was a good change right there. 2-1. Just dropping and diving away from the left-hand hitter. 60 pitches, 37 strikes for Braden Shipley. Johnson at second, Rivera at first, 2 outs. 2-2.
That's when you know a guy has a good changeup, when he can throw it back to back, sometimes 3 times in a row.
Has always been his best pitch.
The arm action sells it. The hitter sees that arm driving through there. He reads fastball, sees the rotation on the ball. That tells him fastball, but the pitch just never gets there.
Diamondbacks do have the shift on. Jake Lamb is over near the third base bag with Johnson at second and Rivera at first. Owens and Segura both on the outfield grass. Got him. 6 strikeouts for Braden Shipley, who strands 2 and through 5 has a 3-0 lead. He struck out Reynolds. He gets the Grandy man. D-backs lead at 3-zip. Catcher on this show hits a triple. It's our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing Cool Play of the Game. Bob Brenly had 7 career triples. This is number 1 for Tuffy Gozowicz.
Tuffy will catch his breath about the time we land in Boston.
How about this? You'll love this. That was the 4th triple, the 4th by a Diamondbacks catcher this year. That's the most in the major leagues.
Nice.
And Tuffy will lead off the 6th against the new pitcher. It's the left-hander John Neese, who over the winter was traded to the Pirates for second baseman Neil Walker. But the Mets at the deadline reacquired Neese in a trade for reliever Antonio Bastardo. So now they have Walker and Neese, who has pitched both as a starter and as a reliever this year. In fact, we saw Neese pitch 2/3 of an inning in relief in the ball game last night. You went crazy in 1983. You hit 2 triples.
Yeah. And both of them, if I remember correctly, were to right center field at Candlestick. And our hitting coach that year, Tom McCraw, said if you keep that same approach next year, you might lead the National League in triples.
Well, you hit one in the next 3 years. So he was close.
He was close.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, somebody hit at least 2, so I didn't lead the league. We need to get Tuffy on there and steal a base next.
Diamondbacks have stolen 13 bases in this series.
And just to put that into perspective, the Baltimore Orioles have 14 stolen bases on the season.
That's amazing.
15 teams in the major leagues that have fewer than 13 steals since the All-Star break. I just love it. Like I said an inning ago, if you spot a weakness and it's something you think you can exploit, ideally you get the right guys on base and you exploit it. And boy, the Diamondbacks have really taken advantage of the Mets' inability to hold and throw out runners.
It's almost become laughable at this point for Chip Hale's ball club. Goldie stole second and third in the last inning. Tuffy's worked the count full 3-2 to open up the 6th against John Neese. Braden Shipley on deck. Braden has an RBI single and a stolen base in this ball game. Tuffy shoots one toward the left field corner, and that ball is gone. Tuffy goes to wish a home run. That's his second this year, and it's 4-0 Diamondbacks. First a triple, now a homer.
Have a day. Wow. In nearly the same spot that Oscar Hernandez hit his home run last night. Oscar's was a towering fly ball. This more of a line drive variety right down that left field line for Tuffy Gosewich. Neese misses a spot all the way across the plate. Pitch was meant to be away. It comes right across the inside corner, and Tuffy was ready for it.
Boy, Tuffy came into this ball game 1 for his last 23 up there, but he's got 2 hits, a triple and a home run, making a jumbo jack, a free jumbo jack tomorrow, with a purchase of a large drink from our friends at Jack in the Box. He strikes out Shipley, 1 down in the 6th.
A tough at bat there for Braden Shipley. However, the Diamondbacks pitchers, as hitters, as an offensive unit, the Diamondbacks pitchers lead the majors in runs, in hits, total bases, sacrifice flies, and stolen bases.
I mean, Braden's already had a good day up there. He's got a single, an RBI, and a stolen base, so offensively he's taking care of business. Here's Segura. Gene 0 for 3 so far. Segura 4 hits and a walk in the series. He had 2 doubles last night. He's also stolen 3 bases. Second in the National League in hits. That stays fair for Johnson at third, and Segura beats it out.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Michael Bourne, a pair of singles. He's 2 for 3. We'll see if the track meet starts again here. And a left-hander on the mound now, and John Neese. D-backs have already had 4 steals today. Rito has 1. Shipley, the pitcher, has 1. Goldie has 2.
Most stolen bases in a series since 1998. Marlins against the Padres. They stole 17 in a 3-game series. Padres and Rockies 16 in a 4-game series. And Rangers at the Red Sox stole 14 in a 3-game series. Diamondbacks right now sitting on 13 through 2 games and 5 innings.
And Michael Bourn ahead 3-0. Pitch walk. A run in on the Gozowicz homer. Now the D-backs have 2 on and 1 out for Goldie. Goldie has singled twice. Pardon me, doubled and singled. Reached on an error by the shortstop Reynolds and stolen 2 bases. Gets away from Rivera, and Segura and Bourn move up.
Well, that's one way to keep him from stealing a base.
Spike one. It's been a bumpy inning for Nice. Tuffy had the homer to lead it off. He did strike out the pitcher Shipley, but then Segura singled. Bourn walk, now 1-0 on Goldie. First base is open. So they will give Goldie the intentional pass, and they'll work to Jake Lamb with 1 out, the bases loaded. It's been a tough series for Jake. He is 0 for 3 today. 0 for 12 in the series with 6 strikeouts. Now at 278 on the year. Bases full, 1 out. 1 run already in. That one goes through Rivera. Here comes Segura, and it's 5-0 Diamondbacks. Bourn to third and Goldie to second. That's a different way to get tacos.
What in the world? Rene Rivera, widely recognized as a really good receiver, really having issues back there right now. Pitch just off the outside corner. Didn't seem anything tricky about it. That one will be a pass ball charge to Rivera.
First one a wild pitch, the second one a pass ball. And 1-1 on Lamb.
Jake looking to turn his afternoon around. All 3 of his plate appearances have been with runners in scoring position. He's left 5 men on base in his first 3 at bats today.
Syndergaard really was able to get in on Jake's hands, popped them up twice to third base, and then had a harmless fly out to left. That breaking ball missed, and Jake is ahead 3-1. The bases are loaded again. Third walk in the inning by Jonathan Niese. 3 consecutive, in fact, 1 intentional. And that'll bring out Dan Wortham, the pitching coach.
What he's going to say? Stop walking, guys.
So the wheels are close to coming off for Niese.
And nobody throwing in the Mets bullpen right now.
Michael Bourne is the runner at third. Paul Goldschmidt at second and Jake Lamb at first. And a good series for Chris Owings, who has barreled up a few. CO doubled and scored in the fourth. He's 1 for 3. That pitch is in the dirt from Niese. We're not counting the intentional walk. 9 of the last 10 pitches from Niese have been balls. CO gets it in the air, deep center field. Diaz backing up, and he won't get there. It's off the wall. Bourne will score. Goldie will score. They will wave loud, and it's a 3-run triple for Chris Owings. 8-0 Diamondbacks.
Third time in this series that Chris Owings has banged the ball off the wall here at Citi Field. This one coming to straightaway center with the bases loaded. Diaz got a little bit of a late jump out there in center field. Wasn't going to catch up to it anyway. That ball hits the base of the fence and ricochets back toward the infield. And another triple.
Brandon Drury gets one in the air left center field. Conforto runs it down. Chris Owings comes in. Diamondbacks lead it 9-0. They have scored 9 times. Boy, Chris Owings, 8 hits in his last 16 at bats, 5 of them for extra bases. RBI for Drury. Socrates Brito, the 9th man to bat in the Diamondbacks 6th. Left-hander Josh Edgin has started warming up in the Met bullpen. 1-1 on Socrates. Make it 1-2. A 6-run Diamondback 6th after they got 3 in the 4th. And Terry Collins, watching his team, about to drop to 500 on the year. Mets have lost 6 of their last 10 coming in as it is, and they can feel it slipping away a bit here in New York.
You know, we talked about it the other night. The local papers, when the Diamondbacks rolled into town, were saying that how this should be a chance for the Mets to get healthy against the Diamondbacks and the Padres, who come in after the D-backs. A couple of the worst teams in the National League. I'm not so sure. Watch out.
He threw it behind him.
And bulletin board fodder, it's not as big of a deal in professional baseball, but that would certainly motivate me.
Well, Niese strikes out Brito, but the Diamondbacks send 9 to the plate in the 6th. 6 score. It all started with Tuffy Gozowich, who got his 2nd home run of the year, a line drive shot out of here to the left field corner. The Diamondbacks going for the sweep, lead it 9-0. Sixth inning here at Citi Field. Hey fans, nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. It's Colin and Jason on FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself. You can catch Speak for Yourself only on FS1 weekdays at 3 o'clock. Braden Shipley now with a 9-0 lead. He has walked 1, struck out 6, given up only 3 hits. All of them singles. And Alejandro De Aza leads off the inning for the Mets. He has grounded out, struck out 0 for 2. There's strike 1.
Even though they won the first 2 games of the series, the Diamondbacks left a ton of runners on base. They were 4 for 23 with runners in scoring position in the first 2 games of the series. 4 for 12 today.
Yes, he went. John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, rings up De Aza. 7 strikeouts and 3 in a row for Braden Shipley.
Close enough.
On the getaway day, that's a swing.
It's hot, it's humid, getaway day, a 9-run ball game.
What do you want from me?
Yeah, he went.
Neil Walker, a single and a fly ball out. D-backs have the shift on for Walker, who shoots it the other way to Brandon Drury. Drifting near the warning track. Looks like Brandon got some new pants, so that's good. 2 outs on 4 pitches for Shipley in the 6th. It'll bring up Jay Bruce.
Yeah, Roger Riley and his crew. Roger takes care of the equipment and the travel for the Diamondbacks. They usually bring a couple of extra pair of pants. You know, of course, with the multiple uniforms that the Diamondbacks have, that involves a lot of pants.
Lead the league in pants. Jay Bruce. 1 for 2. He's got 2 hits in the series. They're both singles. So it's been kind of a quiet series for Bruce, who has 9 homers and 20 RBIs in his last 18 games. So the Diamondbacks have done a good job against this guy. Mets are going to have some work to do in the offseason. They traded for Bruce. They traded for Walker. They're the 2 best Met hitters right now. Both guys can become free agents after this year. 70 pitches for Shipley, 45 strikes. Brandon Drury runs that one down. An 8-pitch 6th inning for Braden Shipley, who leads it 9-0. lead at 9-0. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. We head to Red Sox Nation after the ball game today and open up a 3-game series at Fenway Park against Boston starting tomorrow. How about this battle of lefties in the opener? Patrick Corbin and David Price. And then Saturday, Archie Bradley up against the Theon Greyjoy of the AL East. That's Clay Buchholz. And Zach Greinke takes on Rick Porcello in Sunday's series finale. Some changes for Terry Collins Ball Club. The new pitcher is the left-hander Josh Edgin. Just his 3rd appearance of the year. We saw him pitch 2/3 of an inning in the opener on Tuesday night here. And down 9-0. Terry Collins has got some youngsters in there and he's moved some guys around. Those for you in a minute. Tuffy Gozowich led off the 6th with his 2nd home run of the year. Now will lead off the 7th. Tuffy has an RBI triple and a solo homer. He has scored twice, knocked in 2. Oh, 0-2. TJ Rivera has checked into the ball game. He made his major league debut last night. He's taken over at 3rd base. The Bronx native is in there. Kelly Johnson moves from 3rd to 2nd. And Ty Kelly is out there in right field. So that's what the new defense looks like for the Mets. Pitcher spot is now 3rd in the Met lineup. Rivera at 3rd, Johnson at 2nd, and Kelly in right. 1-2 on Tuffy Gozowich. That's out of play. Johnson, who moves over to 2nd and throws him out. Braden Shipley will take the at bat in the 7th. He's working on a 3-hit shutout so far. Boy, they always say that once one starting pitcher steps up big time, the rest of the guys have a way of picking up that act and following it. Well, we've certainly seen that in this series after Zach Greinke returned on Tuesday. Robbie Ray was sensational last night. Really good. Braden Shipley's been outstanding this afternoon.
Well, there's something to be said for that, especially if one of the pitchers in the rotation ahead of you is similar in style. Throws the same kind of pitches, tries to work an opposing lineup the same way, and you see what they did to have success against the lineup. How did they get hurt against the lineup? And then you try to avoid the things that hurt them and accent the things that made you good.
Very shallow right. Johnson drifting out there. He's calling for it, but he gives way to Ty Kelly, and that's the 2nd out in the 7th. Jean Segura single and scored his last time up. Diamondbacks presumably will head to Boston coming off a 3-game sweep here in New York, and Bob face a Red Sox team that just played the Yankees at home all week, and we know how long and exhausting those games can be for both clubs. So maybe you'll catch Boston at a good time as well. Although you do have to face David Price in the opener. It's not quite been the same David Price this year, his first season in Boston.
And David Price will put you to sleep. He works extremely slow out there on the mound, between pitches, very deliberate wind-up. David Ortiz fouled a ball off his leg last night. He was questionable.
Yeah, they thought for a moment his season might be over, which of course would be his career. Hold on, Gene, that's strike 2, says Bill Welke. But the Red Sox and Yankees have another game tonight at the Fens.
Break for the Diamondbacks are missing the knuckleballer. Stephen Wright pitching tonight.
He's been outstanding at All-Star for the Red Sox this year. Two other NL West teams in action right now. The Padres are trailing at Pittsburgh. Pirates lead that one 4-0 in the 6th inning at PNC Park. And the Rockies have a 1-0 lead at Texas.
We're being told Stephen Wright scratched tonight. Eduardo Rodriguez, who was scheduled to pitch the first game of our series, pitching tonight. So we'll see who takes Wright's place.
Rene Rivera hasn't had a tough enough time today.
We talked about these earlier this season. When you take them down there off of that chin extension at the very bottom of the mask, the brunt of it goes right into your chin. It's like getting sucker punched. Even though there's a pad on that chin area of the mask, when that ball hits at full speed down near the bottom, it's like taking a punch from Mike Tyson.
Drops that one in there, and he strikes out Segura. Edge in a 1-2-3 7th, but the Diamondbacks have a 9-0 lead.
But you know, it's one of those games where, you know, we had that interview a couple years back, 5 years back, and I was out of the game for a few years, and you know, I came back and I told myself I was going to, you know, basically play until you know, they ripped the jersey off of me.
Love that. That from our breakfast at Wimbledon edition of Diamondbacks Live this morning. Our two-part interview with Sean Burroughs, former Arizona Diamondback, playing in the Independent League in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We caught up with him yesterday, and that's my favorite moment from it, explaining why he's still going in the Independent League, guys, at 36 years of age. The Diamondbacks dugout really happy to hear that we had a chance to see him, and I just noticed that the gang back at the home office is now efforting and putting up both parts of that interview up on our website at foxsportsarizona.com in case you weren't with us this morning.
It was early.
It was.
Even for us out here, it was early.
Yes, I noticed that. Well, Bob, you know what? I'm going to kind of tie that into our discussion that we now know that we'll have with you and your son, Michael. Still a part of the game. I went down to Tucson to talk to him near the end of his playing career for a feature we put together on the 10th inning, and why he was still trying to make a go of it. And I remember watching his games when the internet first started, and we were traveling around North America, and he's still in the game, and he's still pulling that uniform over his head. That's a Major League Baseball uniform. I can't wait to get his take on that.
Yeah, tough decision for any player. Sometimes the decision is made for you, but you know, to make that decision to go into something else, even if it's still in the game of baseball, it wasn't easy.
James Loney, after the broken bat, flies out to Bourne in center, and that's the first out in the 7th. Now 6 in a row retired by Braden Shipley, who's working on a 3-hit shutout.
By the way, we'll be opening the pregame show at some point in the infamous Fenway Park elevator. It'll be the first time.
You're going to do that again?
Steve
It was
Gilbert
you and Gilbert, right?
Yeah, Steve and I will.
That was 3 years ago. You and Steve Gilbert stuck in the Fenway Park elevator for what was it, like 45 minutes?
45 good minutes, yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. The team bus did not wait for us. You guys just kept rolling back to the hotel.
We got places to be.
I understand.
You guys are on your own as Johnson grounds out to Segura.
2 can't hold up 30.
Now you're not going to get back in that thing, are you?
Oh yeah, I'm going in.
Come on, they have the ramps, man. Just use the ramps.
Oh yes, Luis Gonzalez reminded me of that ramp repeatedly after we found out we took the elevator.
You got some nice views of Boston in the corner there.
Yeah, right. North Church around there somewhere, isn't it?
No, that's the north end.
Oh,
yeah, it's more you're overlooking Calm Ave over there. But
okay.
And you lose about 15 pounds walking up those ramps.
I'm in. Okay.
Well, it's not like stairs, you know. It's back and forth, a lot of zigzagging, but it's kind of like Wrigley Field that way. Michael Conforto.
I just recall the guy that rescued us, quote unquote.
Yeah, how did you get out of there, by the way? I forget.
He knocked down the ceiling of the little hole in the elevator at the top.
He crawled down from the top?
Well, he dropped a ladder down, then we climbed out.
I remember those pictures.
Yeah,
That's
you'll
funny.
see him again.
I bet, yeah. Goldie has that one. Oh, Braden Shipley is pitching a gem right now. A 7-pitch 7th and a 3-hit shutout. Citi Field in New York, it's been all Diamondbacks. Braden Shipley has been tremendous. 7 scoreless innings of 3-hit baseball. He has retired the last 8 he's faced. He's been very efficient. 15 pitches over the last 2 innings and all kinds of D-backs offense. A 3-run 4th and a 6-run 6th. Tuffy Gozowish has a homer and an RBI triple. Chris Owings has a double and a 3-run triple. And the Diamondbacks in this series have stolen 13 bases. Michael Bourn will lead off the 8th.
You notice a Carlos Ruiz fan out there at Citi Field with the Chooch jersey on.
Yeah, walk around here in a Phillies t-shirt. That's asking for trouble. I don't know if Braden Shipley will get to finish this thing off or not. Zack Godley started warming up in the Diamondback bullpen.
Yeah, I saw a couple of handshakes and hugs over in that third base dugout when Shipley came off the mound.
He's only at 78 pitches right now through 7 innings. I know it's a hot day out there, but he has looked terrific. Talking to Mike Butcher, the pitching coach. There's Zack Godley warming up in the bullpen.
We saw Zack Godley throwing in the bullpen late last night, just getting a little work in. Might have an opportunity to pitch here this afternoon with a 9-0 lead.
Braden Shipley has pitched 7 innings. He's given up only 3 hits, all singles. He's walked just 1, and he struck out 7. And he thought maybe with that pitch count well under control, he's been enormously efficient, that maybe he would finish this thing off, but doesn't look like it to this point.
Man, I can really only think of 1 hard hit ball, maybe 2. The hard ground ball that got by Chris Owings, and James Loney hit a line drive to Michael Bourn in center field. The only 2 balls that were really struck well against Braden Shipley today.
Etchen strikes out Bourn to open up the 8th.
Hey fans, follow Arizona Diamondbacks baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet.
Another 2-hit day for Goldie. He's had 2 hits in every game in this series. He has doubled, singled, walked, and scored a run. He's also stolen 2 bases. Just your typical day at the office. Three balls and no strikes. Jake Lamb on deck.
You know, one thing you really liked about Braden Shipley's outing today, I mean, there's a lot to like about it, but they just attacked. They give him a big lead in the ball game, and he went right after these Mets hitters. He only threw 15 pitches in his last 2 innings combined.
Goldie on base for the 5th time today. 2 singles, 2 walks. He also reached on an error. That'll bring up Jake Lamb, who walked and scored his last time up. Yeah, I have out of 7 innings thrown by Braden Shipley, 4 1-2-3 innings in the ball game. We talked about it at the top of the show after he had a tough time in his last start. 6 walks in 6 innings last week against the Brewers. Only 1 base on balls. That was to Kelly Johnson to lead off the 5th inning. Mets bullpen is busy. Another left-hander throwing down there. Jerry Blevins. Oh, Loney scoops that one at first. Edgin gets over there, and he can't get to the bag before Lamb. Boy, Loney has such a quick glove down there.
That ball was hit like a bullet. You see the tail end of that play.
Oh.
Edging the side of his foot caught the inside of the base. It looked like he beat Jake Lamb to the bag over there, but no argument.
Down 9-0 in the 8th inning. Nothing from the Met dugout. Been a great day for Chris Owings. Another one. It's been a great series for CO. Let's see. Here's why they're not challenging that one. He missed it by just a bit.
Yeah. Tried to drag the right foot and catch the corners he went by, but unable to do so.
CO, another base hit for Owings. What a series he's had. Lamb takes the turn, and he's in at third. Chris Owings now a home run shy of the cycle in the ball game.
Just as hot as a hitter can be right now.
Chris Owings 9 hits in his last 17 at bats. His third hit today. A long day for Terry Collins. Diamondbacks looking for the sweep. It's 9-zip. Sitting coach, and he's seen a lot of offense. 9 runs on 12 hits so far. Hey fans, don't miss the annual D-backs alumni game. It's coming up Saturday, August 27th, and this year's alumni game starts at 2:30. That's before the game against the Cincinnati Reds, which is a 5:10 start. And the first 20,000 fans who are with us that day will get our Diamondbacks batting practice pullover courtesy of Sanderson Ford. So get your tickets now at dbacks.com/alumni. Well, here's Jerry Blevins, who gave up the Oscar Hernandez homer last night to lead off the 12th. He's up there with runners on the corners and 2 outs facing Brandon Drury. This was Blevins. First batter he faced was Oscar. First big league homer, and that was the big hit in the ball game, and a 3-2 Diamondbacks win in 12 innings. Still clapping about that one.
Just as exciting the day after. It's a lot like pizza.
Brandon has walked. He's also knocked in a run. Lamb at third, Owings at first. Defensive changes for the Mets. More flip-flopping by Terry Collins here. Kelly Johnson, who started at third, then went to second, is now in left field. Michael Conforto has come out of the ball game, so the pitcher spot now 6th in the Met order. Blevins is the new pitcher. Wilmer Flores takes over at second. He'll bat third. 3-1 on Drury. On the ground is shortstop Reynolds. They go the short way for the force on Owings, and Blevins gets him out of the 8th inning. Diamondbacks lead it 9-0. Sweep, it would be their first road sweep of the Mets since 2002, and one of the authors, Braden Shipley, 7 scoreless innings, only 3 hits allowed, all singles. He had 7 strikeouts.
Very impressive outing for Braden Shipley today against an undermanned Mets team. Did what you have to do. Go right after him. Be aggressive. Attack that strike zone. Everything was working for him today, and his offense supported him in a big way.
A very low pitch count, but he's out after 7. Zach Godley is your Arizona Federal Credit Union pitching change. And Zach is down the Diamondback bullpen, at least for the time being. So he's on to start the bottom of the 8th inning against the Met catcher Rene Rivera. Double switch by Chip Hale. Phil Gosselin replaces Gene Segura at second base. Gosselin will bat 9th, pitcher spot now 1st in the D-backs order. Rivera has grounded out single, 1 for 2. What do you make of taking Braden Shipley out of the game after only 78 pitches with a 3-hit shutout going?
Well, it is a hot, muggy day here, and apparently Chip feels a 9-run lead is enough, and pull the plug on Shipley. Hopefully he'll be sharp again for his next time out. And I mentioned Godley hasn't worked in a while. He threw in the bullpen late in the ball game last night. Just want to get Zach some work and pull the plug on Shipley quickly enough so that he'll be rested and ready to go for his next start.
That would presumably be back at Chase Field next week against these New York Mets. 3 games coming up in Boston Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then we're back home. Only 3 games against the Mets before it's back out on the road to San Diego. So don't unpack.
How about for Shipley, the guy that pitches the last game here in New York? He gets 3 days off in Boston. A little vacation.
A lot to do.
Although he may be used as a pinch hitter or pinch runner if the Diamondbacks get jammed up somehow.
And put him in there at shortstop. That's where he played in college in Nevada.
You might have to recommend some sites and things to do.
It's a lot to see. Hard to third, right to Jake Lamb. Tough hop for Jake, but he collects that one, throws him out. Matt Reynolds, the shortstop. Jose Reyes should be back at shortstop for the Mets by the time they get to Chase Field next week. He's starting a minor league rehab assignment tonight over on Coney Island, I think, right? Brooklyn.
That tells you where the Mets are this season when they're looking forward to getting Jose Reyes back.
Fair point. He's been out with a left oblique strain, Reyes. One of the litany of injuries for this Met ball club that following today will have them at 500 on the year, 57 and 57. Mets will have lost 7 of their last 11. Did you see that picture of Zach Godley and the guys on top of the Empire State Building?
I did see that.
Tapper back to the mound. Zach has it. And he throws out Reynolds. Patrick Corbin went up there. Zach Godley. Baxter was up there. Baxter's on this trip. He was actually in Cats. No kidding.
Really?
Yeah, he went down and he was hanging out with some of his Cat buddies over at the play.
How about that?
There they are. There's
Yeah.
Jake Barrett on the right, Patrick Corbin, and Zach Godley on the left, and Baxter on top of the Empire State Building. Baxter's the toast of the town. Ty Kelly. In fact, there was a picture. I don't know if we have it or not. Kind of ambushing our crew in the truck, but what else do they have to do? Of Baxter at Cats that Josh Rowich sent out on the old Twitter feed. He's had a lot of responsibilities, Baxter, here. This is a working vacation for him.
Yeah, Patrick Corbin and D. Baxter joined the Mets. Wilmer Flores, Rene Rivera, and Mr. Met in a play ball derby out at Hudson River Park, Pier 63. That little home run derby, and guess who won?
Baxter.
Yeah.
Of course. Fly ball out to Brandon Drury in left field, and Zach Godley works a 1-2-3 8th inning. We'll head to the 9th. It's 9-0 D-backs. Diamondbacks Healthcare Appreciation Days are coming up. They're August 25th and the 28th, and if you buy the special healthcare ticket pack, you'll get a limited edition D-backs scrub top with your game ticket. The special ticket package is only available at dbacks.com/healthcare. So we'll see you at Chase Field August 25 and 28. dbacks.com/healthcare for your ticket pack. Socrates Brito leads off the ninth against Jerry Blevins. Diamondbacks have out hit the Mets 12-3. They lead it 9-0. Socrates had an RBI double, scored a run in that fourth inning, also stole a base. Rockies are in action right now. They're in Texas. They lead the Rangers 1-0. Padres trailing in Pittsburgh 4-0. They're in the eighth at PNC Park.
Get off me, ball. No idea where that one went.
He's hearing it from the dugout. He's looking around. He thought it might have been behind him. Well, they had a good crowd here tonight, more than 39,000, but a few of them have left trying to beat the traffic on a very hot day. Their team down 9-0.
What traffic?
I don't remember any traffic. Love that Queens Midtown Tunnel, boy. That's a fun ride. Brito strikes out. Big curveball from Blevins, one away. Dominic Leone has started warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. Tuffy Gozowich. Been a big day for Tuffy. He worked extremely well back there with Braden Shipley through 7 scoreless innings. He's also had an RBI triple and a solo homer. His second home run of the year. So a good series for the catchers. Oscar Hernandez had the big home run in the 12th inning last night. Now Tuffy, a homer today. Wellington Castillo will rejoin the Diamondbacks tomorrow in Boston, back from paternity leave. He and his wife had a baby boy late Monday night. So Oscar will go back to AA Mobile, but it was great to see him and get kind of a little progress report. I think, Bob, you got to be thrilled with what you've seen.
Absolutely. Looked like a completely different player, both behind the plate and at the plate.
Skies one, foul ground, third base side. Rivera's over there and he runs out of room.
Well, we were talking between innings about the home plate umpire Bill Welke trying to drink as much water as he can between innings. His shirt and most of his pants are completely soaked.
Yeah, that's not that dark a blue. They were toweling him down and hosing him off between innings.
Yeah, just that one dry spot in the middle of his chest where the chest protector is underneath the shirt, but everything else saturated.
It is really sticky today. Victor Pazza looks nice and clean out there. Is that an easy day at second? Tuffy lifts this in the air out to Kelly in right field. And here's Phil Gosselin's first at bat today. Came into the ball game to play second base for Gene Segura. 273 and 2 homers. Phil grounded out to end the 11th inning last night. He came up as a pinch hitter Tuesday, walked, stole a base, and scored a run. pitcher spot, which is first in the D-backs order right now, is up next, and Ricky Weeks Jr. is in the on-deck circle. Ground ball to shortstop for Reynolds. We'll head to the home half of the ninth. Get the brooms ready. Diamondbacks about to sweep the Mets. Pitcher for the Mets is for the Diamondbacks as they try and sweep the Mets is the right-hander Dominic Leone. Dominic, a 9 ERA in 13 appearances. He has given up runs in each of his last 5 appearances. Last work Saturday against the Brewers. This would be a good chance for Dominic Leone. The D-backs are 0-13 this year in games that he's pitched. So he comes in with a 9-0 lead, try and get off the schneid.
Some of that is his own fault, and also sometimes just the role you find yourself in the bullpen. You come into a lot of ball games when your team is behind and they don't rally, and then you're credited with an appearance in a game that your team lost.
Well, he'll work to the top of the Met order. Alejandro De Aza, T.J. Rivera, and Wilmer Flores. De Aza today 0 for 3, struck out twice. First pitch is a knock right into right. Leadoff man aboard. Kid from the Bronx grew up about a 15-minute drive from here. T.J. Rivera, 27-year-old rookie, who had a single in his major league debut last night. That one came in the 10th inning. Rivera was leading all of AAA baseball with Las Vegas when he was called up after the game on Tuesday, hitting .349 in the Coast League and was the reigning Coast League Player of the Week.
Yeah, you mentioned only one base hit in the ball game last night, but he had some good at bats in the game, took some nice swings.
Terry Collins was saying that he has heard from a lot of their minor league people about T.J. Rivera, and they all say that he can really hit. That's going to reach the seats, and it's 1-1. Really short swing, not a lot of movement in the swing. And right now the plan is to give him some extended time at third base. They're going to move some guys around. They expect Reyes back soon. So Wilmer Flores, who has been playing third, will sort of become a super utility guy again. And they'll get a look at Rivera, who turns 28 in October. 1-2. Don Walsh will have Diamondbacks live post-game show as soon as this one is over. It's 9-0 Diamondbacks in the ninth, and if this score holds, it will be the 9th time this year the Mets have been shut out. Over the mound, Gosselin behind the bag. What a play by Phil Gosselin, but Rivera beats it out for the infield single. Reached against Dominic Leone.
Right over Leone's head, headed for center field. Gosselin cuts it off balance throw just too late at first to get Rivera.
Wilmer Flores. Flores does not have a hit in this series. He's batting an even .250 with 11 homers.
Diamondbacks pitching in this series has done a great job with runners in scoring position. And that's 1 for 9. This will be the 10th at bat with a runner in scoring position.
And the bullpen Tuesday was outstanding. Did a good job again last night for the most part. Really like what we've seen from rookie lefty Steve Hathaway. Looked good again last night. Randall Delgado, 6 up, 6 down. Randall worked the 11th and the 12th, wound up with a win last night. His 3rd of the year.
Enrique Burgos lately, I don't know what got into him, but man, is he a different pitcher out there on the mound.
He's just bullying guys.
Just can't wait to get the ball, get back on the rubber, and overpower the next hitter.
Fly ball to Socrates Brito in right field. Diaz is at second. He'll hold there. And that's the first out in the ninth. The batter is James Loney, the first baseman. Loney 0 for 3 today and hitless in the series, 0 for 9.
A few scattered raindrops starting to fall here at Citi Field.
It's one of those days where it's sunny over there, cloudy over there. You can see all those clouds behind the center field scoreboard on a thick, humid, muggy day in the ballpark. There's a ground ball to Gosselin. Owings for 1, and there's the double play, and the Diamondbacks get their 6th shutout this year, and they sweep the Mets.
Boy, this year so many times we've said everything that can go wrong has gone wrong for the Diamondbacks, but in this 3-game series everything that could go right did go right. Pitching was outstanding, the offense was great, the defense was great.
You mentioned the pitching. The Diamondbacks gave up only 5 runs in this entire series. And they have won 5 of their last 6. A 3-game sweep here at Citi Field. It's their first ever sweep in this ballpark. And their first road sweep of the Mets since 2002 when they took all 4 back at Shea. 9 runs on 12 hits. Braden Shipley was outstanding. Tuffy Gozowish, a home run and an RBI triple, his first career triple. They beat Thor, they beat the Mets, and they get the 3-game sweep. Much more from New York after this.